The Washington Bruce Romeo Parks and Recreation Star Transportation Commission meeting of March 20th, 2025 at, 6:02. So let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Billick.
Here.
Ms. Bowers.
Here.
Ms. Dembski.
Here.
Ms. Duda.
Here.
Ms. Getter.
Here.
All right, next item, approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or deletions to our current agenda?
Oh, well, yeah, maybe. Not to this, or when would we talk about amendments? Should I add that so we can have that conversation?
We don't have it in here.
No.
Sure, we'll add it.
Okay.
We'll make it under the director's agenda. We'll make it K.
Okay.
And what was the subject? I couldn't hear you.
That will be amendments to the.
The budget amendment.
The budget.
Got it.
Anything else? Anybody? We're good? Motion to approve.
What's that?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of item K of budget amendments under director's report.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, consent agenda. Anybody have any issues with the meetings, the approval of the accounts payable, or any of that?
Just a mistake in the meeting minutes from February 20th. Under roll call, it says I'm here, I was there, I wasn't. And then it says I wasn't.
You were in spirit.
Up there, yep, okay, I see it. Got it.
I didn't have any.
That was the only thing I saw.
Anybody else?
Nope.
Motion.
A motion to approve the consent agenda minutes and accounts payable with the amendment to the minutes for roll call.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, you have to vote on that one? Money?
Oh, that's right.
Which one?
We put budget amendment, so we need a roll call. Roll call, Phyllis?
Mr. Billick.
Yes.
Ms. Bowers.
Yes.
Ms. Dembski.
Yes.
Ms. Duda.
Yes.
And Ms. Getter.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Legal counsel.
Thank you. No legal report right now. I know there was a question that was raised at the last meeting, which we can cover later in the meeting.
Right.
I think there's a separate item for that.
Yeah, I had a question too. We'll cover it at that point. Community comments. Would that be you, Sam? Or are you on another?
He's
I'm
on.
the next one.
Huh?
Guess I'm next after this.
You're up, Claire.
Sorry.
So people at home know why there's someone extra.
Well, why don't you tell us?
Okay, hi Sadie. This is Sadie Hop. She's up here with us because she's doing a job shadow with Clara today for our school.
Nice.
So I probably should have said it.
Yeah, that's okay. She's one of my students.
I know.
too, so-
Well,
Claire's very busy.
she's shadowing Pam brought her, or you guys have been together anyway.
Have you been with her all
Sorry.
day or just?
No, it would have been really nice to had I had you today.
Especially for the fight.
I had
Yeah.
her with me today.
Well, her sister was in the fitness center.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh,
we try to keep politics out of everything, and in the fitness center, sometimes conversation gets out of
it
hand.
must have been after we left.
Yes, it was
Okay.
right before here,
Like an hour
yeah.
Oh, okay.
ago. Yeah.
Okay, so the first item is Washington Township Park Future Project. And we have Sam Pavetti here, Washington Township Supervisor, who is going to maybe first talk about the forest view and why it's not happening. and
Not,
then-
yeah, you just gave me one. Okay, yeah, thank you. The first park that you see on the other side, I actually had the Romeo High School architectural program draw up a park there that's located at 28 and Jewel. The township was given this property about 20 years ago. It's about 30 acres there, but about 20 acres of it is wetland, which makes a very difficult park to develop. We did give these constraints to the students. They came up with an amazing park design. We named it after the subdivision next to it. That's how it's got its name. It doesn't have to stick with the name. We were looking at now actually putting numbers to it to see how it would go. And due to the wetlands, you get into Eagle, which is a lot of permitting. We can put some trails in there, but because of the wetlands, Eagle demands a lot of boardwalks, which drives the price up dramatically overnight. So, again, originally my thought was, this is green space that's not being utilized, why not make it a little pocket park there in the corner? The land up to the front, closest to 28 and Jewel, as you'll see, they've drawn a pavilion, a playscape, parking area. The problem is we don't know how deep, I guess they call it the pylons, until they hit the proper thing. So we don't know what the wetlands, right now, we've kind of put it on hold. It was a good, we were pursuing that to get grants from the state, from the Michigan DNR. As of Monday, that's what we were really looking forward to it. Our planner, Spalding DeDecker, has been researching it more and more. The costs are just really going up pretty fast on that property. So we may have to downscale it more to just pathways, or maybe look into it more as a conservation area. Like other communities, they use it as a conservatory for butterflies or a certain bird or a certain, so maybe we can make it more as a walkway park. Still put the sidewalks along Jewel and 28. Jewel's becoming very residential, so it would be nice to have this park in that area to use it. I did do a community survey for the township, and that was the #1 feedback. People want more trails, more walkways, more pathways, more parks. So this would kind of help that area, I thought. But again, when the cost started passing $1 million, I kind of put the brakes on it now. So it's a lot more than I anticipated. Again, so we may have to like review it back to more just a pathway type park, maybe not as much. And again, the ground may not be able to hold a pavilion depending on the wetland. So again, this is I still think it's feasible to, I have Spalding looking into possibly doing this into a conservation type of a thing. Again, one more butterflies, maybe a trailway, making it a little more easier.
If it's a conservation type park.
More of a conservation, yeah.
Is there would basically probably be no maintenance then, right? Is that?
Yeah, so.
Other than invasive?
And that's what I was gonna say, like the 20 acres in the back is pretty much wetland, and it would be,
Right.
yeah, less maintenance on it. They're looking into seeing if there's any kind of grants with doing a conservation type of a park to look into that as well. So that's still kind of on hold. I'm kind of disappointed because a lot of the students worked on it. In fact, her older sister was part of the group, Becky Hopp's daughter. The students did a really great job, very
Yeah, it looks nice.
professional looking type job. But again, if the Parks and Rec Commission, if I guess keep this kind of in the back of your head. If you guys have any thoughts on how we can pursue it, or if any, again, the trailways would have to be a dirt kind of trailway or wood chips. It couldn't be asphalt because of the wetlands, and so there's a lot of regulations to that area there. But the other park, which now I can talk about it, it was a closed session thing. I've been, for 4 years, been trying to buy the Thornton Schoolhouse. We finally bought it. It sits on 1/8 of an acre. I'm assuming, I don't know if you guys know the whole history of it, but it sits on 1/8 of an acre. All the land around it is owned by J&H Trucking, which does the gravel mining in that area. Because it's 1/8 of an acre, you can't really put a septic field there. There is water, but if we were to refurbish it, it would just sit there. There would be no parking, you couldn't do anything, obviously, with septic, using it as for restroom area. The township does own 10 acres down the street from it, about a quarter mile down the road on 31, between Campground and Mound. We bought this land about 4 years ago. The idea was 5 acres for a park and 5 acres for a future fire department, as that area may develop in the future. So the 5 acres that is for the future park, again, I went back to the Romeo High School architecture program. They actually drew up about 20 different park proposal ideas. These are kind of the 2 top ones that are feasible to make in phases, so we don't have to develop them overnight. I'm hoping we can do this over a 2-3 year kind of project. My goal is to move the house to this park this summer. Craig Bryan from the CTE over there of the trades department, he's actually locked in a lot of the trades to do all the work for free. The students will do the work. The trades are supplying the roofing, the wood for the flooring, windows, all that kind of stuff. I actually had a heating and cooling company now donate. We actually want to dig a basement instead of a crawl space so we can put the heating and cooling down there, so it'll preserve the schoolhouse better for the future. We've actually secured an excavator company that will dig the basement. So cost-wise for the schoolhouse is very minimal to nothing at this point. I'm thinking about doing this as a phased approach too. Maybe the parking, for now we'll do maybe the parking lot with the schoolhouse in the middle of it, as you'll kind of see on this drawing. Maybe we'll do the gravel parking lot to start out with, kind of like at Gilcher, and then eventually make it asphalt. Again, I don't want to spring this all on you guys all at once to do a lot of development. We're kind of aiming towards this first one. It's kind of drawn up in quadrants. So you can kind of develop it as you want, with the schoolhouse featured in the center. The idea, we want to put actually a few fruit trees from each of the area orchards and put a little plaque on it. And I've actually, the Brab Cemetery is on the corner. When we did the sidewalk there, we took the horse rail that was there from the 1890s. I've got that to put there as well. We have the original bell that came from London, England back in the early 1800s, so we'll be putting that back up there. The cupola of the schoolhouse, they're actually redesigning it right now in CAD at the high school to build it for the wood, what do you call it? Trades department. I still call it a wood shop, but I'm sure it's not called that anymore.
Sam, am I mistaken,
sorry.
but were you, the
Oh, sorry.
thought process with Thornton Park, was that,
Oh, sorry, I'm getting to the grants.
oh, no, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so, sorry, so,
I wrote that.
long story short, just to bring everyone up to speed. So now we're working with Spalding the Decker as our planner. We're trying to get some grants to cover some of this cost of the park as well. Since it's a historical park, we can actually qualify for some, they call it CDBG funds, which are Community Development Block Grant. So we're trying that with the county and also with the state to see any grants with that as well. So that probably won't happen this year. I'm hoping for this year, like I said, if we could at least move the schoolhouse, get it secured, so if the schoolhouse is done this summer, when fall comes in September, the students can start working on the schoolhouse and get it going. Everybody's excited. I had the DPW clear out the area around the schoolhouse, so everybody thinks we're moving it tomorrow. We're not. It's going to be a few-month process, but
Is there a
Sorry, yeah.
particular reason for that particular location of it? As opposed to, I know you've got Hoxie's.
yeah, mainly because Hawks Acres has a lot of barns already. We just thought this park,
And when were you going to leave those?
and then it's very close to where it's originally from, so.
Oh, I just want,
The engineers are saying it's safe to move. I just don't want to take a chance driving it down the road too much further. It's,
take it out for a tool.
the idea is to call it Thornton Park after Thornton Schoolhouse. I mean, I think it's just, makes sense to call it that, but we're open at suggestions as well, but.
What are you looking at for cost to move the building?
Right now, we bought the schoolhouse for 125. To move it is about 15 to 20,000. And right now, I do have it budgeted under the township right now to get it moved over right now. But so that's at the point I'm at. Like, I think now maybe it's the time to start getting better costs. I got Spalding trying to get us costs for each section for like a playscape, the pavilion, the bathroom. We do have water there, but the back of the park will have to have some sort of a retention pond, which, for those of you that don't know, it would hold water if it's a dramatic rainstorm, but 99% of the time will just be like a green bowl, kind of like Ag Gilcher has right now. So the back of the park will have this little dip, just in case, as the park develops. But I have engineering right now looking at it to put a septic field. We don't have sewer out there, so we would need a septic field if we ever put a bathroom there. And then also, we're working a design to put all the utilities in there, like for electric and obviously water lines if you want to put water fountains or, again, the schoolhouse, we would need to run obviously obviously electricity to it, but the other thing, there is gas line there, so we can run the heat for the schoolhouse there as well. So this is really hot off the press. Because it was a closed session item, I couldn't really discuss it the last 3 years I've been. The prior board didn't really give me permission to buy it at a certain amount, so this current board gave me the permission to buy it at the amount.
So how much does the township have in budget for this currently right now?
Right now, we have a budget basically to purchase it and to move it.
Okay.
So,
So what is it going to cost to then do the excavating to build it? Because before you move it, you're going to have to,
yeah, all that so far we've got donated by trades right now.
okay.
So that's the good news. I'm offsetting probably the cost of purchasing we have all these trades. And actually, I mean, I got to say the community's been outpouring. Everybody wants to help paint or do something. So everybody's excited about the project. And the school, I didn't realize was open until 1955. And a lot of people, even that actually work here, they said their parents actually went to school there. So there's a lot of, it sounds very old, obviously 1840, but I didn't realize it was active until the 50s. So there's still a lot of, so really currently at this point, I don't see it like becoming a park this year. It's basically going to be the schoolhouse with maybe a makeshift parking lot in front. And it'll be a lot more earthwork to get the septic field and the pipes in. And this will be more something to start thinking about for year 2 or 3, obviously.
Right.
My goal is 2027 is our bicentennial, so I'm kind of hoping this will be done by 2027. So we got 2 years to work on it, but I know it's, I believe the schoolhouse will be done, but again, we got to put the parking lot and that kind of stuff. The other option we've been talking about is the 5 acres next to it. We don't foresee building a fire station in the next 5 to 10 years in that area. Possibly using that ground if you guys want to make a soccer field out of it. The problem is, in 5 to 10 years, if we do need a fire station there, then I don't know if the people will be upset that we're taking away soccer fields, but again, it might be worth it, put the sod field down if you guys need the soccer space. I don't know, the demand and stuff, but.
So am I right to understand that for that design that you have there, is that the
projected total of 1 million? Or you're still getting pricing?
No, for this, we're still getting pricing.
Okay,
But I mean, for rough cost, if you figure, I guess, a restroom, the pavilion, a playscape, and then both concepts have either a pickleball court or basketball court, that kind of some sort of a sporting type area. So, again, we're kind of leaning towards this first one because it's kind of broken up in quadrants, so we can kind of focus on, if you want to phase on a quadrant a year, every other year kind of thing. And it also has kind of a walking path around the park, which is kind of neat.
In my paperwork from our notes. what
Yeah, I
we
know.
had-
I know, I was throwing a lot of stuff.
Well, and I think so the $1 million and the matching grant was for.
That was for the
Forest?
original forest.
For the original.
okay.
So.
I just,
can discontinue.
back to the original, the one at 28 and Jewel, to spend more than $1 million on a walkway park, it seems very,
Right.
I mean, a lot.
And that area is growing. I mean,
But the area needs it, yeah, I
they
mean,
need something.
I'm thinking for right now, if we can at least get the sidewalks around it and maybe do some sort of a rough pathway and, again, investigate some sort of conservation area, but.
So what is your vision in relationship to how much Washington Township would be funding versus how much of the funds would come from Parks and Rec?
Yeah, I'd have to get board support, but I guess once I get the numbers more locked down, I can
Okay,
start looking. I'm putting a lot of my eggs in the basket for grants to see what they can
okay,
do. Maintenance-wise, I'm not seeing, because it won't be developed, I mean, maybe we'll just have to brush hog it a few times a year, just to allow the students to get in there to work on it for this year, but I'm not seeing any major, and I can send the DPW out there as well we have a brush hog to make a pathway to get to it and stuff.
well, that at least gives us an idea.
But I mean,
Budgeting.
you have at least, yeah.
Yeah,
But how do you say, the excitement behind it is like everybody wants this done tomorrow too, so I don't.
right.
And I mean, I'm probably, obviously, I'm the most excited about it. We're having weekly meetings, we're trying to get this going. And I didn't realize how complicated it is. When you move the schoolhouse, you have to leave it midair. Then they move it over the hole, and then the basement, originally, we thought it could be a poured wall. We want to take the stones from the original foundation and either implant it. Because it's moving, it has to be a masonry block basement wall, and they have to build it precisely so the house can be lowered on it. So it's a little bit more complicated than just moving it onto a basement slab. It's not as easy as we thought, but again, our building department's gotten some vendors that want to donate, and Mr. Bryant has gotten a lot of vendors interested in this.
Okay.
Question.
So, I
Forgive
guess
me.
I'll have more information in a month or two, but, yeah.
So forgive me for not recalling for sure. I just got a question. Was this location one of the locations that we prioritized as a commission to develop into a park in our master plan? Or is this is a new location? I know it meets the objective of the plan, but is the location one that we had as priority?
It was listed as a possible future park
Okay.
location, but it was not listed as a current.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
The other one is Hawks Acres. We bought the 27 acres there. Again, I went back to Romeo High School. I told them to come up with different ideas of use of the Hawks Acres because obviously everyone's got an opinion on what to use the park for. So I thought if they could come up with 2-3 ideas and then maybe make a kind of a community vote on different ideas, what they come up with. So the landowner that does have it has until November to live on there. That was part of the deal. So we haven't really done anything with the properties since then. Last June, I got a grant that was called Relief Michigan. They planted 20 trees there because it was a horse farm. There's not really trees there. So the park is actually sectioned in areas where each horse was. So we picked a section area and planted these 20 trees. And anyway, I'm hoping we can qualify for that every 2 years, maybe start putting some trees in different areas there. But And even with this park as well. We can do it.
So do you foresee that park coming under our authority? My understanding is when that piece of property was purchased, it's going to stay under Washington Township. So are you asking that that becomes part of our?
Yeah, so I guess I need to know from the Parks and Rec, either you guys could take care of the maintenance of it, or I'd have to create a new committee to handle the conservation of Hawks Acres. I would need to know that, yeah.
I think that kind of goes to what's the intended use of it.
Well, yeah, and
You know, what everybody needs and
Yeah.
wants.
I'm saying I've heard everything from farmer's market to community garden, all different things, so it's,
Well, you know, again, there's considerable building in that area as well.
yeah.
But it's not what I would think, well, the other property over there is more walk-toable.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Not really
No, I get
word,
it.
but, you know.
I've even been looking into, there's these like, I forget the proper name of it, but they actually bring farm animals there, and it's an organization, they take care of the animals on site, but I don't know if that would be like kind of like a mini Greenfield Village kind of thing there, I don't know, but there's a small barn on the site. I mean, there's several barns on there, but there's a small one. I'm thinking maybe we could move that next to the Thorington house to give it some other aspect over there, but the Thorington Park, my idea was a lot of the high school seniors for prom pictures and homecoming, they go to Shelby Township and take pictures over there. I thought this would be a nice picture area. I mean, for anything, not just for that kind of stuff, but.
Sure. I mean, it sounds like a nice project.
Yeah. This is kind of more exciting because it'll be the focal point, the schoolhouse, and we're kind of making it from grounds up. Hawks Acres is a little bit more complicated because there's a lot of barns and we have to figure out what to do with it. So it's.
How long does the owner have to stay on the property?
So he had 2 years, and the time will run out the end of November this year.
Okay.
So we have about 11 months, and again, the thought behind that was Mound is building up fast, so we secured 27 acres to kind of stop the development there. And now I'm getting obviously the developer next door wants to buy it to expand his sub, which that wasn't the intent of it. But I've also gotten interest from the church next door that they would like to use it to plant gardens and stuff too. So, which is a pro too, obviously. But we have access to the park now. It's just the original owner again is living there until November, but in return he's maintaining the property until he moves. Basically, that was the deal we struck with him that time. But.
For the Thorington schoolhouse, do you foresee down the road with the refurbishing that it's something that schools would be able to use for like field trips, like one-room schoolhouse type learning situations?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I kind of like it with the playscape and a restroom and a pavilion. I thought then the elementary schools, but I mean, it could be open to anyone, not just Romeo schools, but they could spend the day there and do that. And that's what I was telling Clara. We could even rent the schoolhouse. I mean, you could use it for meetings or anything if you really wanted to. It's not. They keep comparing it to, there's one in Rochester that they did, and Clinton Township has one right on their municipal campus, and I've been to it. We've actually had meetings in there that they'll have a meeting in these schoolhouses. So that's why I thought with the basement, at least you can put folding tables and chairs in the basement kind of thing if you need it. I'm involved, I'm the president of the Historical Museum here down the street, but they actually have a big section of the books and a lot of stuff that belonged in the Thorington, so we're hoping once it's refurbished, I can put these books and stuff back into the original schoolhouse. It'll be neat.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, so it'd be kind of cool. It's basically our last schoolhouse, that's why it was kind of, we had a cabin, I guess, I heard back in the 90s that was on campground, and of all things, it's located on Chesterfield's municipal campus, but it says it's Washington Township, but it went over there. But that would have been nice to put at this park too, but it's not happening. It didn't happen, yeah. But again, we're open ideas. I mean, the drawing is more like, I thought, something that's feasible to do and something for us to work for, obviously. Then as a side note, I'm in the Kiwanis. They'd like to obviously work to help to fix up the park over there at Morton Street. They wanted me to say that as well, so they're looking to fundraise on that.
Which one?
I've thrown a lot at
Street.
At the
Oh, Morton
community
Street,
center.
okay.
on Morton Street.
Didn't we talked about that, didn't we?
Well, I think that I had a conversation with you
Oh.
about the,
okay.
but that is where the glider
Yeah.
will be going
Right.
this spring.
Yeah, no, no.
I do have, the representative from Miracle will come out and look at that park. But it's not our oldest park.
No, no, I know.
It's
yeah.
the one that, I didn't know if maybe, well, I didn't know. Well, like with something like this, if maybe
No, no.
that was the, the playground
Yeah, I mean,
would be a
yeah.
project.
So the Kiwanis, they'd like to help raise funds to either upgrade a playscape or upgrade existing equipment, but we know it's not, obviously, it's
Yeah,
not cheap
well, I
equipment,
mean,
obviously. It's-
Again, if the representative comes and says,
Yeah.
oh, this is, because I mean, it's a fairly newer playground, but one of our newest playgrounds is the only thing, but the Kiwanis, I mean, it is the Kiwanis Playground. Their name is on it and the sign is up there, so I can see why,
Yeah, well, they just thought that one, yeah.
yeah.
But they're open to helping any park, obviously.
I know, they're very open and want to help with parks, and we just have to decide, or, like a little bit more. Not that you didn't, the surprise parks, but, I mean, they're great, though.
Got to take it when it's available.
I know, well, I'm
Yeah.
all about parks, so,
Yeah,
but,
I mean, I thought at a minimum, at least if we could at least pave the parking lot and have the schoolhouse and put the grass, I'll be happy. I think at least we did what we aimed. We restored the schoolhouse. People can visit it. You can park there. And again, we can build it up over time. I'm not. I know I'm building the hype for the bicentennial, and I really want to, but I'm not. I'm saying if we don't have everything in place on day one, it's not the end of the world either. But I'll know more once I guess we get more cost, and then
yeah.
it'll
Well,
help to kind of.
and again, in the packet of information, I have the grant. I thought I had it right, honestly, from,
Yeah.
but,
So, yeah, as of Monday, we were ready to pursue a grant for the park at 28 and Jewel. But after investigating the dirt, the wetlands, just from $1 million, it seemed like $1 million wasn't even enough. And I think we have to investigate the other avenues of looking at more as a conservation park with more just trails and walkways. And
And, I mean, we do need more of those type parks too.
yeah.
As the area grows.
No.
That's
I mean, I was kind of envisioning, like, as you're walking, I don't know what you would call it, like, there's like a little stand that says, here's where the so-and-so bird rests, and you can,
Right.
I don't know, kind of a thing like
yeah,
that.
they have an interpretation.
I know Oakland Township,
Trail.
or Oakland Township, when they purchased the park on Snow Road, because it's still undeveloped, they get a big grant from DNR every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's what they're looking at. They call it Michigan DNR
exactly.
kind of thing, yeah.
Because they get a lot of money from not developing that park. And as
Yeah.
long as they don't develop it, they continue to get that annual grant
yeah.
every year.
But do they have anything in there? I mean, do they?
No, there's nothing in it.
No,
No.
so it's the opposite. They're getting money
Oh,
for
to
not
not-
To
developing.
not
Not even
develop-
put trails
Yeah,
or
there's
anything.
nothing.
Yeah.
There's like, dirt paths that someone has created.
Oh.
And then you can drive your car like right into the entrance, but then you get out and you literally just walk on this dirt path that over time people have just created. by
Right.
Walking in there, but there's nothing in there. But it's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's
no,
a
no.
thing. I mean, there's water on there, there's a river that runs through there, and you see a lot of wildlife and stuff like that. So, but every year they get a really nice big chunk of money from the DNR.
And this property too at 28 and Jewel, like with all the population around it, it is 30 acres. I mean, you could spend all day walking in there. It's make a lot of trails, but I wouldn't recommend these bridges obviously because each bridge is around 250,000 and up. It's very expensive. So it would have to be more, natural walkway and again, wood chips, that kind of stuff. This park actually, I think it could be done under $1 million, to be honest. I mean, it depends with the pavilion, the bathroom, and the playscape, and again, either a pickleball court or basketball court. Those seem to be the two popular requests I'm getting all the time, but again, we could leave the area just grass for now and, develop each quadrant as we go on, Everybody likes the trailway around the park so you can walk around it.
So
I
really,
probably made you more confused.
No, no.
Just more.
No, I think you have a good plan.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you want to have it done by 2027. I'm not
No,
sure
yeah.
piecing it out is the best
Right.
way to
Yeah.
go about it, because
No, no,
we're
yeah.
only two years
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
So we would almost have to be all in if we were going to finish
yeah,
it,
okay.
is my thought.
yeah.
But I think the important piece is just knowing what the numbers are.
Yeah.
Did the school give you any idea of how long it would take them to refurbish the school?
He made it, they're already working on the cupola, because that has to be removed anyway for the
Right.
move. They're already designing it in CAD, and they're going to refix it already, but, yeah, he's making it sound, if we can move it and they start in September, it'll be done by the end of the school year, so
Really?
it should be pretty fast, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's not super, it's 24 feet wide by 40 feet deep, so
Right, so it's not really big.
it's a big rectangle, yeah. The problem, what happened with the schoolhouse, is it had a natural fireplace in the back, and they took it down, and that's what started decaying the back of the roof and everything. And I actually have the original oven that was in there. It looks like one of those oil drums on legs.
Yeah, yeah.
But I have that locked up right now, safety, because people now are snooping because they think it's township property, so now everybody
Yeah.
thinks they want.
Right.
So I'm just afraid, I'm hearing rumors of scrappers trying to come around. They want to take the roof off because it's made of metal, and I'm like, geez, it's like now I got another
Need security.
thing to watch. Yeah, I got to have security on it, yeah. So, and then again, the other, I don't know what you would call it, people don't understand why am I moving it, but the problem is because of the property width and the original owner had it for 30 years. They actually wanted to make it a house. They wanted to move it next to it, put a new foundation and just move it next door, but at that time there was no water, and then again the septic field was the killer for the spot. They couldn't put a septic field there, so. In return, I'm looking to, obviously, once we move it, I want to sell the property. I'm assuming the property owner around it, he's really the only one that will be interested, but
Right.
that would kind of help offset some of the cost that we bought the schoolhouse with. So, sadly, the person that did own it, he passed away the day after. It was very sad. But the guy's been very instrumental in the township. Him and his wife have fixed up a lot of historical homes in the township. So,
Well, thank you.
no, thank you. Sorry.
Thank you for-
Sorry, I'll try to get more information too.
Yeah.
I mean, if it has to do with parks, I mean, we're interested.
Yeah, I know. Again, my hands were kind of tied with the whole purchase of the schoolhouse. I couldn't talk about it, but
Right.
that's why I was kind of. I was telling Clara, and we do have another 30 acres roughly on 31 Mile. That's all wetland as well. The most we could do with that is, again, another trail type system there. So that's more by Powell Road in that area, more on the east side of the township. So just something to think about there, yeah.
Michigan, by the complex area.
Kind of by Total Soccer in that
Yeah,
area,
Total
yeah.
Soccer.
But it's right off of 31 there.
Yeah.
But that's more in the back of your heads for now, future thought, but.
Well, we did talk about that we really do need to come and sit and talk about the properties that are out there, just so that we can get an understanding of.
We want to provide what the people want and
Yeah.
what the townships would like to see. But,
Yeah.
you know, with the interlocal, us not being able to own anything or
No, I
put
know.
capital
It makes it
improvements
difficult.
into anything, it ties our hands, but it
Yeah.
ties them to you.
No, I get it,
You
yeah.
know, So, and that's okay.
And then, I think I can talk about it now, but a lot of people wanted us to buy the Rite Aid at 29.
Yeah.
It would have made sense to make that a Parks and
Yes,
Rec
it would.
because we own the land around it. It was a closed session. We did want to, the board at the time was interested. We did want to buy it. the price they offered us was crazy. It was over $3 million. And
Oh.
we thought it was way over. Now we're kind of upset because they ended up selling for 1.6. For 1.6, the township would have bought it. So we're kind of upset with that because that would have been a perfect, it's right in the center of the township,
Yes.
by the Orchard
Right in
Trail.
the
and
center,
everything.
it's Orchard
By the trail,
Trail,
yeah,
backs
exactly.
up to our other parks.
So I'm kind of pissed, I'm kind of upset about
Okay, Sam, nobody watches our meetings, it's okay.
This will be on Facebook in the morning, I'm sure. The problem with Rite Aid, just so you guys are aware, that's one of the weirdest property situations in the township. Normally, the township has no say on what goes on any parcel, business-wise. That's a consent judgment, that property. So right now, the only thing that could be used there is to be literally a Rite Aid store. So the owner has to come before the board now to ask to change the use of it.
No, unless he takes that back and tells it to you.
Yeah, I know, right?
Isn't it?
So,
Right, renegotiate.
I know, yeah. So that's why it's kind of sitting there right now, because they're having trouble renting it because no user wants to use it because they don't like this consent agreement, but that's the way the property was. Again, this is way before my time. This was in the early 2000s it happened, but anyway, and that's kind of the story with this Rite Aid at 29. But again, if they would have offered us the 1.6, I think I could have gotten at that time, the board had the appetite to buy it for Parks and Rec. It would have been a nice spot.
So it's a done deal? It's sold?
Right now, it's kind of, unless they put it back up for sale, it's kind of done.
Yeah.
So it's kind
Yeah,
of,
we were
I've been working
about that
the,
too.
We talked about that too.
Yeah, we talked about that.
yeah, so I've been hearing it off the street. Why don't you buy it? Why don't you buy it? Like, I would love to, but at 3 million, I think they were just trying to take advantage. It was government money. They were obviously trying to get more money.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
No.
Anytime.
Oh, no, thank you. So, yeah, I'll bring more information as we get into stuff.
Do you have any questions for us while you're here?
No, it's okay. Yeah, no, we approved our budget last night. I know we approved for our side, so I think you guys are all set with the budget, I think.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you guys for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know it's complicated.
Thanks, Sam. Back to you, Claire.
Okay, so 8B is tax ID and legal name of organization. So we did find out information and we're super close on getting, our Romeo Washington Bruce or Washington Bruce Romeo Parks and Recreation Commission is not in Lara, which is Michigan's. But in talking to them today, I called, and if everything is correct that they said, they sent me to Department of Justice. So I waited on the phone for them, and they were able to let us do a DBA. So we're in there, though, as Romeo Washington Bruce Parks and Recreation, but we could do doing business
Right.
as the Washington Bruce Romeo Parks and Recreation and Star Commission. So that we've done. However, with the bank, some of the problems was with the name and so we could keep our tax ID number that we have right now. But some of the problems that came, I know with PNC in the past, was the names that they have for Parks and Recreation and Star there, way back when it was still messed up, if I understand that correctly. But then I honestly really thought that changed when we did the interlocal.
Well, that's what I think we were all under the impression
Yeah.
that it was all changed properly.
Yeah.
But in my communications with the banks and various banks now, because Huntington's saying the same thing, when they look up our organization, the old name is appearing, not the new name.
Right, so now we are almost to the next phase, but it was a 60-minute, I don't know, it didn't happen before I got here. because I had it on my cell phone, I just stayed on hold. But what I'm going to try to do is talk to the IRS, and at the IRS, we can actually flip-flop, so the commission's name can be the first legal one, and then the Romeo Washington Bruce, just because of our logo and stuff, can doing business as, so that we can be covered
Okay.
both ways. But what we have done today, it's just backwards from what we want, but it's complete. So
Right.
we could maybe talk to the banks.
Okay.
But also, I'm not sure, I do know that the IRS one is a little bit more of a process because they said they have to send us something. We submit it, they're gonna go look at it, and then they're gonna send it to us. So I don't know if that means a week, a month, because I actually never spoke to a human.
Okay,
So, but we know the process and what has to be done now, so we're close.
great. Okay.
All right.
So we're done with that one.
So we are on 8C, which is the February 21st legislation for the part-time earned hours for part-time staff for sick. Berna would have liked to have been here. She could have explained it. I cannot necessarily, I don't know if everybody had the opportunity to watch the little video explanation, but really what it comes down to, in this packet, we have how we're going to calculate with our part-time staff. And she created a form, and then it will just be filled out, and we're just going to have to follow the rules as we go. So
We should follow the rules.
we're going to follow the rules.
Good plan.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're set, we're ready to go as long as the commission is, good, or if you had any questions that I don't know that I can answer, but I can bring you back answers if that is.
I have, so the letter that Berna wrote?
Yes.
I'm assuming that needs to be approved, or
Approved.
if we have questions, we need to send you back with questions.
Okay.
I did have a question, well, there was a comment, I guess. One of the, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth paragraph down, the second to the last sentence, I think she meant to say something else here. It said, should you terminate your employment prior to earning the accrued hours, your final paycheck will be a true up based on actual hours worked. I don't know what that means.
True up?
True up.
True up is a term used to finish things off, bring us up,
Reconcile.
So whatever,
Reconcile.
okay, all right. As long as it makes sense to somebody, it didn't make sense to me. Okay,
Yep.
all right. And then I am fine with what she's proposing to do. My question is, how will it be tracked with your current tracking system? Because I know we're using manual timesheets.
Yes.
And I'm thinking this might be a little bit difficult to manage, but maybe it's not. I don't know.
So,
Because she's suggesting that we accrue hours. For every 30 hours worked for a part-time employee, they get 1 hour of PTO, which would be up to 72 hours per calendar year. So my question is, how does she plan to manage that? Is it all completely manual?
so as of right now, but I mean, we are an agenda item or two later, looking at possible payroll systems or HR companies to bring in. So this would be a really good reason why something like that would help. Plus our financial system that we have is no longer going to be supported in around a year. So, but if we go with a payroll company, I don't know again, I don't know a lot about the accounting system and the software that needs to be there, but if we would need to, no matter what, have some type, we're going to have, even if you use a payroll company, we would have to update or change our financial system. So I think no matter what, we have to do this, but I don't know the answer if it's going to be manual right now. I mean, it would be manual on an Excel
Okay.
spreadsheet. That, like even my payroll sheet is on a spreadsheet that is automatic. I just put it, okay, so that part's manual. I put the information in, but at any point, someone's going to have to do that, so.
Right. Okay. As long as it's being managed, that was primarily my question. And I just think that, just based on what I do know about how we're managing timesheets,
Yes.
I do think we have to move in the direction of an HR or payroll company that gives us the tools that take away all the manual work we're having to do, so. But I did read through the letter, and I think it sounds fine to me. It's easy to understand, and I do have a pretty good understanding of the new guidelines. So from my perspective, I think the letter is very good and explains what is being done very nicely.
So I have a couple comments. So the employees currently are manually putting in their time right now on their time sheets?
Yeah, I mean, like, all of full-time and part-time staff, we have well, now it's digital. Like, we can do it on the computer for the full-time staff. A lot of our part-time staff just write it out manually, and then it has to be input.
And then who's inputting it?
Our accountant,
Okay.
yes.
And then will she be the one who's going to be handling the sick time? Will she
So,
be the one who's going to be maintaining?
We have a
the
full-time
budget?
accountant, and then we have a part-time accounts payable. And I believe the accounts payable clerk does a little bit more of the inputting or going through to make sure that our timesheets are correct. However, with that being said, Berna actually does do the overall check at the end. So it's a combination.
So a combination of both of them will be
Yeah.
maintaining the sick time?
Yeah.
Okay. So has anybody investigated hiring an HR or a payroll company? Because it sounds like that's kind of
So,
important that we should be
I
moving
did
forward.
call, yes, I did,
Okay.
but honestly, I'm not exactly sure of the information, so I need a little bit of help
Okay.
because they're willing to give you anything that you want.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
but it's just
And I think we can talk a little more about it. There's a couple agenda items down. I think there's
Yeah.
probably going to be some conversation there too. So I think this is going to be a bigger issue. The HR piece, I think, is going to be much bigger than maybe we all originally anticipated.
yeah.
So we can talk more in a second.
Perfect.
But the work and understanding of what the law is, I feel like we're prepped for it to happen.
Right.
Possibly manual for a little bit until we get to move forward, but.
Perfect.
All right, employee handbook and job descriptions?
Do we have to approve this letter, or are we
Oh.
not ready for that?
Are we using it? Are we going to use it right now, the letter?
Well,
It has to be
Yeah.
communicated with the employees, that's what they're, I think,
Yeah.
if I'm understanding it
Right.
correctly, you're asking for our approval
Permission to,
to
yes.
give this to the employees.
Then let's do that.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the letter concerning the new legislation for sick time for part-time employees.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh,
Oh. Roll call?
No. Has Mr. Chris looked at any of this?
I have skimmed through
Okay.
the material
I
that was
think
in
you
the,
should
that
do
was
this
in the packet.
pending his approval.
Okay, good point. Pending the approval of Dan Crease. Am I saying your last name correctly?
You said Christ, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
So we're set?
Mr. Billard,
Yes.
Ms. Bowers,
Yes.
Ms. Dembski,
Yes.
Ms. Duda,
Yes.
Ms. Getter.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now, item D.
Okay, I think this is, Pam and I have had an opportunity to review the employee handbook. The one that we reviewed in detail was the full-time employee policy fringe benefit manual. In doing so, and then sort of having some additional questions and that we had for Clara, which she answered, and just doing some further investigating, I really think this is a way too big of a job for Pam and I. I think it is very likely that we would need to bring in either legal assistance or an HR company to take a look at it, because it's my understanding that there's multiple handbooks. There's a handbook for STAR, there's a handbook for Parks and Rec. My recommendation would be that there's one handbook. There's also some policy, I think there's maybe one policy that applies to, or one fringe benefit that applies to one but not the other. So I think that has to be looked at because, you know, to me, it's, if we're the same organization, I'm not quite sure why.
Well, we weren't, though, or, you know.
We weren't,
so-
correct.
and
But
even-
now we
yeah.
are. So that's why I think it's so, there's so many layers to it and there's so much complication. And because this was written so many years ago,
Yeah.
there's definitely major modifications that need to be done. And although I've done handbooks in my past, this one just is a little bit over my head with
No,
it being a
I
municipality. and-
agree. There's, in other organizations that have run into the same problem, you need to know what you don't know and go to the people that do and have it done correctly, because there's a lot of HR issues, as I'm sure Dan can attest, that you just need to make sure that you handle things correctly. Otherwise, you're starting all over again every time.
Right, and just with some of what I've heard, my concern also is that there might be some HR policies floating out there that should be in the handbook, but they're written outside of the handbook. And so to me, that really needs to be looked at
Yeah,
very
to
closely,
bring-
and it
we
is
keep
going to
going
require a
through.
lot of work. So I know it's going to cost money, and, you know, I don't think it's going to be necessarily cheap. But I think with the townships growing, and with, you know, our population getting bigger and the organization getting bigger, I just think it's time to really take a look at that and maybe consider outsourcing that piece. The job descriptions themselves, we did look at those too. The issue with those, I feel, again, from an HR perspective, with my knowledge, they're all over the place. Some look like they were typed on a typewriter
yeah.
many, many years ago.
Carved in stone.
And I'm exaggerating a
I
bit,
know.
but I think that there needs to be a template that's used, and they need to be written the same way. I also think there's things that need to be looked at, policies in relationship to work-from-home policies, things like that. The timesheets, for me, is an issue. I feel we need to have an electronic way of individuals punching in and out, no matter where they're at. If they're at a park, they can punch in,
Right.
punch out. I think that's incredibly important, you know, and so all of these things are just leading up to, I think there needs to be a a little bit of an investment in HR and taking a
Definitely.
look at all of that.
Through the chair, just to add to that, I think the starting point would be with an HR specialist rather than with me or my firm, which is more general public sector legal consulting. So I think that expertise at the front end is probably the wise course of action.
Okay.
I've recently talked to several of them myself, so
Okay.
I have, I can give you some names.
Okay. Now, is that something that we would, that the commission has to have people come and present? Like, how do you go about bidding something like that, or?
Well, it could be a qualified bid. You could ask for qualifications, seek qualified candidates. It doesn't have to be the low bidder. It would be a professional services, so you could ascertain the most qualified, including cost, that would provide the respective services that you're looking for.
Okay. Okay. That might be a way. I know you're talking already potentially to some.
Yeah, very limited because I'm not sure exactly what we want or what
And
we're
where to
looking
start.
for.
I
Yeah.
know,
And
it's big.
now- But they all do have an HR side to it, the payroll side. I mean, they've got a lot of different,
Well, and I think we do need to start utilizing an independent HR
yeah,
when it comes to dealing with trying to do it in-house
yeah.
is, and it usually always gets tossed onto the accounting people for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, it's outside of their area of expertise, number one, but it just, when you have employees having to deal with other employees' issues, it's just not a good idea.
No. Attest to that.
So do we need to make a motion to move forward with qualifying
You
bids?
certainly could direct the director to put together, and, I don't know if you are ready yet with the specifics of what you're asking her to seek, but to look into putting together an RFP for HR consulting services, which would include, at a minimum, handbook rework and any other things that you could think
And
of.
most of them do payroll,
Right.
so, see you, Sam.
Okay.
Honestly.
Well, maybe can we talk about the next item too? And then go back to that? Because I don't know if this next item is something that would be included in that or not. So the next item is annual performance evaluation for the director. I know we have to do that, but I don't know how to go about it being the commission. How do we evaluate Clara's performance without being a part of the daily operations? I have some ideas, but I don't know how to go about it. I don't know if you guys have a standard sheet that you use to evaluate employees with. But I do think because it's part of the agreement, I do think we probably have to consider moving forward with that. But I don't know how when we're not working with you on a day-to-day basis. We only know what's brought here. So one of my ideas is, do we do an employee evaluation on the organization as a whole, but part of that being, evaluation of managers and things of that nature. That's really the only thing I can think of, being an outside source and staying within, our scope, I guess.
Right.
So that might be another thing that an HR company could help us
They
with, but
could-
I don't know that they have
They
to.
could take her job description, for example, and make from that, using that as a guide, items that we would evaluate.
Mm-hmm.
We would have to weight the items, but, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, well, I do think. the
have you
staff
had
is
any
probably
past
done.
evaluations? None that you want to show us?
Like, well, I mean, like, way back. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they've been on typewriter.
But
So-
I think, I think you're absolutely right. I think, you know, we need to get an evaluation that represents her position, and then go from there.
Right. And I think that's a good idea going forward. You know, with respect to an annual review, the director, you are able to review the director. Clara would have the right to ask that be, because you are a public body, to have that evaluation and review in closed session. And that would be up to Clara to make a decision as it relates to whether you wanted to have that evaluation in public or if Clara preferred to have it.
Well, I don't know. What are you going to say? And I'll let you know.
Well, I have
I
to
mean,
evaluate you
You would
first.
be in there. It would
Oh,
be
you're
a closed
right.
session.
Yeah,
If,
right.
I mean,
if it happened,
I'm out
you
here
did
for
it.
the
If it didn't,
community.
you blame for it.
yeah. But I think that the staff, you know, they're not going to want their names anywhere
Right.
near it.
And there are
or
ways
anything,
to
nor do I
do
think
that.
so.
There's surveys that you can use. We did
Yeah.
it in some of the past companies that I worked for. There's no way of identifying other
Yeah.
than if somebody's talking a certain way.
Right.
That you know, oh, that's
That-
got to be so-and-so.
Yeah.
You know, that's really the only
Right. Mm-hmm.
way you can identify who said what, is sort of, there are some areas where you can ad-lib
Oh, yeah.
your own comments, and that's where you can kind of tell
Tell, you know,
who certain people are. But outside of that, the surveys can be completely anonymous, where no one would know who said what. And I think that's
That would make
of
them more
benefit,
comfortable.
because that's a tool for you too, because then you can really know what are the areas the organization as a whole needs to improve upon. So it's always good to get that perspective from employees without, you know, them thinking they're going to get in trouble for saying the wrong thing.
I know. That's,
So,
Yeah.
so that, again, that's something that could be included, but doesn't have to be, with the HR.
well, I think it would be a good idea. I mean, because if we are looking at having an outside HR company. and
And they don't have to be involved daily. I mean,
Right.
you know,
Right.
it's their involvement can be situational,
Mm-hmm.
or, you know, or it can be, you know, weekly or something, depending
Yeah.
on, because, you know, for example, you have people with Benny card issues,
Yeah.
you know, and things like that. So, I mean, if there was certain hours per week or something that the person was there, you know, people that had issues could come.
Right, walking through, yeah. That would be,
Or payroll issues, because
Right.
usually it's the same company, you know, utilize the same.
yeah,
It does end up being a fantastic tool for you and your managers, because, you know, if there is an ongoing employee issue of some
Yeah.
sort, it is nice to have that backup that isn't a part of the organization.
Right.
And can be the outside source giving advice.
right. And, I mean, really, we are lacking in just a set guideline that is.
And if you don't,
set,
you
set.
know, and it too, if you have good job descriptions, are a start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if you don't have good job descriptions, what do you measure the employee against?
Right,
I mean, it's great to say, hey, she does a great job because all the programs happen.
right. But, there-
But what does that mean?
Is there more?
To somebody else?
right,
You know, somebody else looking at it. So, and I mean, actually, it affords the employee some protection in that, you know, if they've got a good evaluation and they've been rated well on something, and then all of a sudden somebody, a new director comes in
Right.
and says, I don't like you.
right.
You know,
You're
it's-
gone.
Yeah. So, you're not going anywhere,
Well, I don't know. My evaluation,
right? See how that evaluation goes.
it's like this, you know? But no, so
So for me,
Yes.
I would like to see a couple of companies come
Yeah.
and talk to us.
Yeah,
Because that's just how I would like, how I kind of need to see what they would offer us. Because at this point, I think we all kind of don't know what we all need.
Right.
But if a couple companies came and presented and said, well, we can do this for you, we can do this for you, this for you, I think, one, we will learn from that experience, knowing what is out there. And number two, maybe we find the company that would fit and check most of the boxes for us.
right.
So are
I
you-
guess my next question would be is, do you start to investigate companies and ask them to come? What is the next step for us?
Well, you could.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, I did reach out to 3 of them,
Oh,
and they really want to talk to me a lot, so.
yeah,
I
they
mean,
will.
Yeah.
Because
So,
it can be, depending on how many of their services you
Yeah.
want, I'm
And I don't
sure
know
it's.
necessarily, I mean, I tried to look more locally here,
Mm-hmm.
but that would I don't even know if you put something.
And
like
that's
on
the thing.
BidNet Or
Right, like, and
informational wise looking.
are
Are
you?
you saying, should you? I didn't quite hear.
Oh, on BidNet, or like, I'm not sure, because if I Google it, I get a whole list of them. So do I reach out to all of them? But I feel like they're all gonna wanna talk to me if I do that. Or do I
You put
just?
something on BidNet.
I have not. I just looked up ratings and looked
So you
up,
just selected
yeah,
things you.
areas
I mean, that's
from the
one
website.
option too, is put it out there and you're gonna get a bunch.
yeah,
And then you'd have to vet through who it makes sense to potentially interview, and you don't want
Yeah.
to interview everybody. 2 or 3 probably is the right way to do that. But that's a very nice tool because it goes out to a wide
Yeah.
audience of qualified people who will then, if interested, submit a proposal.
yeah, I feel.
Typically, you would have that open for, a month or 6 weeks.
Right. And if we're really concrete with what we want,
Well,
right,
that's why
a
if
price
you-
for this, a price for
If
that.
you, as Michelle said, if you got some to come in and maybe give us a presentation
So we
of what they
understand.
offer, we would then have a better idea of what we want to put on BidNet.
And that's what I was gonna ask. So your suggestion is to have them come in first before we ask anyone to bid?
That's
Right.
kind of what I think, because we
Oh,
don't
so-
really know what we want at
Yeah.
this point. We're talking about something with payroll, something with timesheets, something with evaluation, something with job descriptions, something about putting our handbook together. Yes, those are concrete items that we're looking for, but we don't really know what else is out there that could help move our organization forward. Because as we start growing, as Kim said, as the community starts to grow, you're going to start wanting more staff, all of those things. So for me, having a couple of companies come and present to us and go, well, we can offer this, this, and this, and this, great, then we kind of have an idea of what we can look for, and then we could put it out for a bid and go, well, we're looking for a company that could do this, this, and this for us. Do you see where I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. One thought, though, is, has anybody talked to the township as to whether they have an HR?
That's one of the reasons. I mean, that's why I'm kind
It
of,
seems like you may very well get a lot of information on what you want,
They
even if
don't.
you decide not to go that way, potentially.
yeah, I
They
mean,
don't, they don't,
usually they handle it in-house, but,
Yeah.
Okay, well, then,
So they don't
then
have
maybe
it.
that's a non-starter.
well, we,
So they don't have an HR specialist, a generalist, or anything on staff?
no,
None of the townships do?
well,
well, this one doesn't.
We
I don't
don't.
know about anybody else, but
but,
this one doesn't.
but we have looked into, we do use a payroll company. And we have looked into, again, I can't speak for the board, but I mean, they have looked into different HR companies to handle, again, HR issues and things like that.
So here's another option. So what about eventually creating a job for a full-time member of your staff who does nothing but HR, an HR generalist, who would actually sit down and do and be a permanent staff member for you? So if there are issues, you would have that conversation, they would come to you, they could literally, you could hire them, they could come in and look at your handbook, put your handbook together, do all your job description, stuff like that. They would become a permanent staff member for you. I mean, that is an option to eventually move forward too. After we have this, maybe that's an option too. And then the next thing would be to hire someone or a service that would just do the electronically payroll for you.
Right.
Because as you start to grow, you might unfortunately have more HR issues.
Yeah, well,
And-
that's why I
And that
sort of
would
like the
be a
company.
comfortable zone for an
Right.
employee to come and go, I need to talk to an HR generalist because I have an issue with such and such and such and such. Instead of coming to you, taking up all your time, you actually have a full-time member who's an HR on your staff, who has an office, private office, all of those issues. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, I wonder if it, I guess it is good that they would.
Yeah.
know the
Right, exactly.
employee.
It would have to
They'd be making
cost
more
out.
than Clara.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that could be. I mean, yes, exactly.
No disrespect.
Right, exactly. We don't want them making more money than you do.
It's okay.
You get what you
They can
pay
solve
for, though.
some-
Right, exactly. You gotta watch that. too.
But yeah, I mean, the staff, having a staff or hiring a new staff who would do that, it would be good because they would know our office. But then the HR
But it would be bad
company-
because they know
Right,
our
because they
office.
know our office. Only
Right.
because we are in that small bursting out. We have a lot of emotions and passion,
Right.
you know.
For sure.
So it might be nice also looking at an outside company that
Right.
doesn't know anyone. But
So of the three companies that you already talked to, do you feel comfortable with those companies, that they seem to at least
well,
be
they're-
good companies based on the reviews that you
Oh,
looked at
yeah.
and all of that?
Like Gusto.
So
and ADB.
I would like to make a motion then to have you move forward with contacting those three companies and asking them to present maybe at our next meeting or whatever meetings. can
I
be
did
made.
just have another person that I have not contacted reach out,
Okay,
who is local from the area, but I just didn't call him back.
okay. So
Well,
maybe
maybe.
we can put it on the agenda for next month, and whoever of those 3-4 individuals that you contacted wants to come and present,
Right.
that's at least a starting point to Michelle's
What they
point.
have. Yeah, okay, good.
You want a second?
I will second that, for sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 How long of a meeting is that going to be?
I don't know, maybe we can limit how much.
Yeah,
We just want to know
You got
about
10
their
minutes.
services.
Oh,
and-
right, oh, okay.
yeah.
And I think we can give them a basic idea of, these are kind of the
the
things that
issues.
we're looking for.
Yeah, this
What
is how
do-
many employees, this is what.
And, you know, we
We
have
want
questions with the handbook, and we know some basic things that we want, and maybe they do have something extra that can help with that, but they could address it then and at least have an outline of what,
Right,
Yeah, and not.
a basic outline of what we're looking for.
Presentation,
Yeah. And maybe
5
give
to
them,
10 minutes.
yeah, maybe give them a time frame.
yeah. So like 10 minutes.
The next one, I think I asked to put this on.
Yeah. Well, it's in the,
It's in the interlocal agreement as well. We are coming up on our 2-year mark as officers, commission
1 year
members,
mark or 2?
too. Believe it or not.
No.
Well, we are coming up on.
You
so-
two.
We are.
Oh, you two. You, okay, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
you guys replaced people,
Well,
Yeah.
so you took their,
That's right.
your start date is the
Yeah.
same
Yeah,
as,
by default, you're also,
yeah.
Oh, I
At the
gotcha.
2-year mark.
I see,
Yeah.
I see.
Yes.
Now,
Okay.
and this is where I wanted to ask legal counsel. In my reading of the interlocal, the commission are seated for 2 years, can stay another 2 if the commission chooses, but then it gets ratified by the townships. Or if they didn't want to to stay or for whatever reason, we choose the replacements, and then they're ratified by the townships.
I think that's right.
So,
Here comes the question.
huh?
Here comes the question.
Yes. So, in that, and then it goes on to talk about the staggering of the terms. And the other question is about the replacement of the
Alternate?
alternate. Thank you. I knew there was a word for them. So the alternates do we choose them, or are those strictly chose by the townships? It was a
I
little
thought
vague.
it was, well, the townships,
It's a little vague to me,
yeah,
but
originally shows them.
Right, but I thought after the commission was established, that approval or recommendation came to us and the townships approved.
let me see here.
Doesn't really talk, I don't see language about successor alternates.
Was it in the second iteration
That's what
of
I'm
the,
looking
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
I think
That
that,
page
I think that's where they
4,
talked about it.
commission member terms.
Are you saying you see language about the?
I don't have it with me, so I'm not sure. But if memory serves me, that's one of the things they changed when they did the Second Amendment, or first or Second Amendment, I don't remember. Because I remember there was discussion about it
Because
at
one
the
of them,
time.
yeah, I remember seeing a change, but
All appointments.
Subsequent to the expiration of the initial term of the new commission members and alternates as set forth above, the Board of Trustees of Bruce and Washington Townships shall select replacement members and alternates of the commission.
Is that one of the amendments?
That's the second amended.
Okay.
so we can select the alternates that
Wait a
then
minute,
go.
wait a minute, hold on, but it continues. Subsequent to the expiration of the initial term of the new commission members and alternates as set forth, the Board of Trustees. Board of Trustees of Bruce and Washington Township shall select replacement members and alternates of the commission.
And that doesn't make sense.
I thought that's what was changed. This is dated, though. This is,
Didn't you guys select?
December 18th. Is that your?
Yeah.
But then it
This is
goes
the
back
signed,
to approval to the townships.
Well, as do, even if
Right.
we do the selection, and we submit to the township for ratification, that these are the people we want.
Okay.
But if that's, what he just read doesn't say that. When he just
Yeah,
read,
that's-
says the township chooses them, not the commission.
Yeah, that can't be the
Yeah,
most recent.
this is the second, which is dated December 18th of 2023.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
Right, and then isn't there the one that was just right before the election?
That was it.
No, the second
That's the-
amendment is the,
There was the first, which was August 16th of
Yeah.
2023, and then December 18th of 2023 is the second,
because we had,
which added, I think that was mostly added star.
oh, yeah, you're right.
And
Yeah.
but we did have one that talked about the compensation, and this one that I have says, you know, you serve without compensation, but I thought in the one amended one that they did put in there that you could.
I didn't think that
I don't
passed.
think so.
Members appointed to-
I thought that they
This was when
just
I was-
asked about that.
Transitioning out, so the Second Amendment happened as I was transitioning off the board. So I didn't see that final copy. And it was, I don't even think it was written by Mr. Siebert. I think that
Two-
board members
two-
wrote it.
Two trustees.
Yeah.
Not sure who.
Two trustees came up with it, and that, I don't think that was the intent of their language, but that's what it says.
So when is the 2-year mark for,
May.
for us then? May?
May 25th, I believe.
What,
May 25th, I believe.
May 25th was when the original document was signed?
No, that's
No,
when
the
our
one term
term.
started.
Oh,
is
your
up.
term,
That's when our term
okay.
started. The original two had 2 years, I think, to get,
Yeah,
to turn it over to a full board.
so,
I do feel, I wish Sam was here right now, because I feel like he did talk Siebert, and I think it's the board who would replace the alternates.
Right,
But
that's what I,
nothing was ever really a conversation
that,
about.
that they chose the alternates. So, I mean, all appointments.
is- I remember that there was a discussion about the fact that the way it was written still gives the township control when when Parks and Rec and Star is supposed to be independent,
Right,
but I don't know.
Well, I mean, the language of 4.1, second paragraph of the second interlocal agreement, the second amended interlocal, says subsequent to the expiration of the initial term of the new commission members and alternates as set forth above, the Board of Trustees of Bruce and Washington Township shall select replacement members and alternates of the commission.
They snuck that one in on us.
Yeah.
but then above that, in the first paragraph, it talks.
That's, go ahead, I interrupted you.
No, it talks about appointments by vote of the majority of the existing commission members.
That's right, that was in that interim period.
Oh, okay.
But
But, I mean, I didn't draft it anyway. I mean, but that's,
Yeah,
could you can all stay right now?
well, if the townships ratify that, yes.
So it would have to go back to the townships for approval so Washington would have to approve the 3 Washington.
they would have to
Bruce would
change
have
the
to
interlocal.
approve.
I'm sorry, what's the proposal, or what would you?
In order for us, if it went back to the townships asking that the current members stay, could they approve that for the
Yes.
next 2 years?
Yeah, that's
So
their
that would just be
prerogative.
something that would need to go, if everyone here is in agreement that they want to
Wish to s-
stay,
I think that's probably.
that it
for the
would go
time
back to the
being,
townships.
Given the language that exists, to the extent that the current members of the commission want to continue to serve, is to have Clara or Phyllis prepare that communication to the respective township boards for consideration, recognizing that it's ultimately up to those boards.
Does that apply to the alternates then as well?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. And I know Sam has been saying all along that he knew that April was the month when he could appoint a new Washington Township alternate. He does know that. So I think he's planning on it. He told me who he was thinking about nominating, so.
Was it April or May?
Well,
He told me April, but
they,
I-
the townships would, in April, but they would take off, you know, they would,
Oh, right.
yeah.
So in the first paragraph, 4.1, the last sentence, or does 4.1, like how it's set, just about the 2-year extension, that doesn't necessarily say set forth in 4.3. Like it's basically saying that you, because you have a 2-year term, like, would you want to do something tonight, like, if you want to stay? Say you would want to stay,
okay,
so
who's
that
up this year?
Well, technically, everybody.
Everybody, because this is when it says like to stay for the extra 2-year term, and then at that point, put in a
Stagger.
like for example, I say I'm willing to stay for 1 year, Bob's willing to stay for 2 years. Our terms are now staggered.
Okay, so when you all were elected or appointed or however, they didn't tell you
No.
each how many years?
No, it
or
was
how-
all, it was a 2-year
2 years.
term.
Okay. Okay,
does
well,
this
that
have to
wasn't
be
done right
a
either
rule?
then.
Because now you're saying that Washington Township has to approve it and Bruce Township has to approve it.
Well, Washington would approve theirs, Bruce would approve.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That
Right.
last sentence of 4.1 says, "Commission members shall serve for an initial 2-year term and 1 2-year extension."
Isn't that?
Isn't that-
That's the original board before these people came on,
Substance?
I believe.
But they still, they're still the original board, even though they're not the original board, right?
Within 1 year of the August 17th,
You mean the
No.
original 2-person board?
The
they should
original,
select new ones, so that was
No,
2023.
when
And
So
that's
that's
when,
two,
there
the
was
2-year.
Dan and Cindy and me and,
yeah.
oh, yeah.
and.
Wouldn't you all
what's his
have
name?
the 1
Scott.
2-year extension?
And who was the fifth one?
Well, we
Can't
could,
remember,
but doesn't
Yeah,
that?
that was
take,
the original board.
Right, but
A board
that's,
approval?
like, so, because you had a, or say Scott had left,
Yeah, Scott left.
and so, oh,
Let's check
yeah.
that, right?
So the 2-year,
Well, selection of new commissioners, well, none of us are new.
Yeah, the whole
but
thing
it
was.
does,
was-
this could use a makeover.
Yeah,
Hey, the HR,
they could do, yeah, we need to
Well,
do
to
one.
Well,
me,
the
the word
interlocal, is-
I know,
that's a
2-year
Dan thing.
yeah,
Extension.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
That's something that has to go to the.
Definitely the interlocal had a lot of language issues in it.
Well, in that communication, the staggered term should be raised as well.
Okay.
4.3, going
Yeah.
forward at this point,
Okay.
says Washington Township, one's supposed to get 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years is determined, which
Okay.
doesn't seem to be consistent, but, and 1 3 years, and then Bruce is for 1 and 2, to create a staggered type of turnover on the commission.
So,
You have the trustees
Would
can
it-
stay for 4 years.
are,
No, they're elected or appointed.
It just, well, you guys just started, or it's so hard
Yeah.
to, for
Well,
everybody. So I could see where the additional 2-year extension makes so much sense.
Well, I'm willing to stay on.
Oh, that's what I was wondering, is if maybe, listen, well, no, I mean, like, if we do have to send it to the boards for next month, like if we kind of.
Well, we would be asking, yes, asking them
For their,
To reappoint
to
rather
reappoint.
and to provide for the staggering as set forth in 4.3.
Got that, Phyllis?
I'm writing it down. Okay. And quote that section, right, in the letter? I'll draft it.
4.3.
Yeah,
Right.
okay. Okay,
But you
so
should
is
have-
somebody making the motion to direct me to do that, then?
I'll make a motion to have you draft a letter to both the Washington and the Bruce Township boards requesting reappointment, if everybody's in agreement, with the current,
Should you direct her to check with the alternates to confirm that?
Yes.
And to
Yeah.
include the
No.
alternate?
well, yeah,
well, that's up to.
well,
That's up to the
that's up to the
township.
They
townships.
appointed.
It's up to them ultimately, but for the
Right.
purposes of the
Oh,
letter,
okay.
if they wish to.
Okay, so maybe we're ready to reword this a little bit. Reappoint all of the current full-time commissioners. For the terms
And
staggered.
a
as-
selection of,
Right,
and
yeah.
to select an
And to
alternate.
select
Select.
alternates as you see fit. As long as it's, no.
I didn't say it.
Okay, I got it.
That should do it?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Got it.
Thank you.
We might get out of
I just sent out a letter to.
doing Claire's evaluation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Well, let me tell you more good things. No, I sent some updates out to the staff, and I'm like, listen, we have a great commission. If you run into them, if you don't know them, know that they have your back. So put that down on my evaluation. It's true, and I do thank you. But, okay, so 8G.
Memorial Park?
Memorial Park. And I had quickly sent to Dan asking, because I know we wanted the opinion to see if, I'm not, well,
Just to see if the
take over the
responsibilities taking over the contract for the maintenance.
and I did tell him, or I put in, Washington Township does currently hire contractors, and they just bill us. So I don't know if it's different or
Yeah, I mean,
with this or not.
I think it would depend on, because it is still the township's property. And if they have contracted with somebody to maintain it for 2 years or whatever,
Yeah.
I think we would have to live with that contract. They're asking us to take over the maintenance of it. I would think that we would have to live with that, but that's a legal opinion.
I'm sorry.
That's you.
I didn't quite hear what you, I'm
Oh,
sorry, I was.
Washington Township asked us to take over the maintenance of the Memorial Park. I believe they have a contract for the maintenance of that park. If we take it over, we're going to be stuck with that contract, I'm assuming.
You are. I mean, I guess you do certainly have the authority to do that. I mean, the contract could be assigned to the commission,
Right.
or alternatively, some amendment could be made to the contract, but it shouldn't be, in my mind, it shouldn't be just that the commission pays for whatever that cost is. There should be
Well-
some type of contractual relationship that provides for you to do that, but with respect to the power, you do have the power to do that.
So the township, you're saying we need some sort of an agreement with the township for that particular park?
For that particular park. There's already an existing contract for, I believe, the remainder of
This
this
year.
year.
This year, I think.
You know, so to the extent that to the extent that the ask is take it over for this season, which I think is what it was, right?
Well,
You know,
forever,
And moving forward.
yeah.
Well, for purposes of the existing contract, you know, there would be an amendment or an assignment
An
of that
assignment of the contract.
as to who does it down the road, and, you know, that's.
Well, they're asking, they're basically, I want to say giving us,
Yes.
but giving us that's one of our parks now.
Yeah,
Right, I mean, I guess that goes to the issue of, is there actually a list of facilities that are under the commission's charge with respect to Parks and Rec? I mean, there really should be.
Good question, yeah.
There
I
should be
mean,
a
within the
facilities
master
list.
plan. But this
Because
interlocal
The township may
says-
own property that's not really parks and
Right.
rec facilities.
So is this park in our master plan?
No,
Memorial Park, yeah.
oh, it is?
Oh, it
Well,
is.
all parks are, I mean, that's our list. That's our
So it is our.
list of actual parks that we have and maintain. But I think the biggest thing is that the interlocal, the commission or Parks and Recreation, how we've always been the one who has to be responsible for the maintenance, sometimes, or, you know, the development of the parks for the townships as they kind of, that's how it's been, how they tell us. Or,
Right.
you know, because it's their township and the millage is for parks, facilities, programs. That's just how I see it. I mean, I don't think that we don't necessarily want to take care of, or not take care of their part, but.
Right, no, I just wondered, I was wondering, you know, just wanted to make sure that, you know, we would have to stick with that maintenance contract, you know,
Well,
for
for the
this
other
year.
year.
And.
It lines up with
would-
ours, though.
Right. Would you suggest that we get some sort of list of facilities that?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. You have a master plan, but, you know, the way the interlocal reads, it talks about the purpose of the commission is to efficiently manage the township's facilities. And I guess I think it would be good for the township to say exactly what those facilities are.
Right.
Right.
Both of the townships, that they believe the
Right.
commission is taking care of, so there's clarity for both sides as it relates to what your mission is and what it might not be.
Yeah, because that is, I don't see it on our list of facilities.
Oh, yeah, there's a
Is it Memorial Field?
Memorial, no.
Right, I didn't think so.
No, it's Memorial Park because
I mean, I could
the
be
one-
missing it
27
somewhere.
again.
Maybe I didn't go far enough.
I mean, possibly I could be wrong, but I thought there was like a drawn picture, and then I think they sent me one way or the other. Either it was just a picture of the grass before it had the, you know, their design plan. It was either way that it was put in. And it's not in there, is it not
I don't
listed?
see it, but, you know, it's no, this is the thing.
Maybe it's not under ours or not the developed ones. Is it back in the, you know, like where
Maybe.
these ones are?
Uh,
I don't have the master plan with me, but
This is page 7, here, I'll pass it down. Page 17 has the ones we were talking about earlier today, the potential future parks. And then the following pages have, I think the following page or two has a list of the ones that we're managing. I don't see it on there, but I could have missed it, because I can't see sometimes.
Well,
I don't have my
listen.
readers.
I guess it doesn't necessarily matter.
No.
Yeah, oh, right
Yeah.
here,
Oh.
on page 38, Washington Memorial.
Okay.
Only, and it is the picture of the dirt.
Okay.
Yeah, we can manage that dirt.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is, but let me tell you where it's at, because it's the Parks and Recreation inventory. I mean, I guess that's just where it has always been within the master plans. But is it part of Village of Romeo Trailside Park? No. I mean, oh, there's another topic, but these are all listed. We don't take care of the Trailside Park or the Village of Romeo, but they are listed because they are. So maybe we do. We could have a 100%.
Or maybe we,
Sorta.
or maybe we
future.
could provide a list to the townships of, these are the parks in inventory that we currently
Right.
take care of.
Yeah.
Maintain.
Okay.
And then these are the ones that we do not,
Right,
you know, or that are awaiting development,
right.
you know.
Because I would say that what we do, we take care of every developed park within, for Washington and Bruce. Now, if we take the memorial over, that would be an absolute true statement. Because at first, when they built it, they didn't want, different people, different boards. But as far as the Village of Romeo, that's different as well. So, yeah, okay.
I think it's important to provide clarity on
For
that.
sure.
Because I will say, I went to the master plan when I heard about these other parks
Yeah.
that hadn't been on my radar, just to see if they were there. And I'm sure I read it the first time we reviewed that, but it certainly was not top of mind.
Oh,
Because
no.
we've had no discussions, and then I saw through the announcement that we were going to be managing the park.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second, what's happening? So, so I do think it would be a really good idea
Yeah,
to have a
have.
list of the ones we are maintaining and a list of the ones that we're expected to maintain in
Yeah.
the future that we are aware of.
Right, or
Because,
like communication
Yeah.
about it.
right.
Or, yeah, to be a part. I get it. Okay, so make a list.
Okay, so we're done with that one.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick that back.
Village of Romeo, Wrecking Park.
Oh, so here, so the Village of Romeo has reached out and they wanted to, or invited you, I think I put the email in there, for, to come or pick one of the dates to come and look at the piece of property that is on Sisson Street, next to Harler's,
Yeah.
across from the
Behind the
bus
bus
garage.
garage, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, what, 2 acres, 2.5 acres?
the letter is in here, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, and I only say that because I don't have it.
It's not very.
There, it is in here. I just got to get to the page. Towards the back.
Oh, and I back and fronted it to confuse things. But Megan, the president of the village, just sent an email, and she wanted to know if any or all of the commission or any of the commission could come and talk about the Reckling future or thought process of Reckling Park. Reckling is the memorial, he was the policeman who was killed in the line of duty. So they would like to make, I'm not exactly sure what they would like to make, but they wanted, the invitation is to the commission to,
So this would be another potential future park?
right,
Okay.
yeah.
Where is this located at?
Well, it's,
Village,
yeah.
on Sisson Street. You know where Wilson Veterinary is? If you go
Yes.
down the end of that street, if you go down to Sisson, then there's Harler's Garage, there's the bus garage across the street, and then there's a vacant parcel right next to Harler's there. And there's subdivision on the other sides of it, so. And it's a relatively small
Yeah, it's
property,
not,
so, I mean, the nice
don't know
thing
how
is it's
big.
walkable.
yeah,
It is across from, well, Croswell.
Yeah.
The parks in Croswell. The bad part is due to the location, you're somewhat limited as to what you're gonna be able to put there, because without impacting the neighbors that are very close by.
yeah. Because there are
But the-
condos,
But the,
right?
yeah, the nice thing is, though, is there would be municipal utilities available, I believe, there.
Yeah.
Many
Everything is there.
acres?
Didn't they,
2.5?
Two?
Yeah, just,
when they first started talking about this, and I don't remember if it was a Parks and Rec meeting or a township meeting, but they talked, the people in the area talked about really all they wanted was green space with some benches and
Very passive.
something very simple for people to sit and,
Right.
enjoy the green space. So they didn't see anything fancy going there.
Yeah, and there really is.
Yeah, I mean, that it would be possibly a nice place for an art installation or something.
Yeah.
You want to do something like that. But it would have to be passive type.
Right.
Probably passed it 100 times. Reaching out to set up a meeting
Oh.
with Parks and Rec Commission.
So, yeah.
I would be available any of the dates she proposed. I know she's proposing 3 separate dates, April 9th, 10th, or 25th.
Yeah, I can tell you what they are. If you like. Put them in here.
I mean, I can make myself available.
Well, the 9th. The 9th is a Wednesday, then the 10th is a Thursday, and the 25th is a Friday.
For me, the 25th.
Yeah.
I'm probably okay on any of them, but only late afternoon.
Yeah, but offer the dates. Well, something else that we could do, because they said that we could offer days and times, we could do it at 5 PM before,
We
Our
could do it one of
commission
our
meeting.
commission meetings, yeah,
yeah,
close by.
like either start early.
Bring a star bus with you. Well,
Yeah, yeah. Well, because now we'll
can
be
ride
at
for
Bruce,
free.
Yeah,
so
starting
you're
next
within
month,
an
we'll be
hour.
at Bruce, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So that would be on April,
17?
well, oh, yeah, yep. Should I try that one and then come back? Or how about I try that one, if that doesn't work, should I pick one of these days that the majority like better than that?
That's fine.
Yeah,
So was the 25th the one that
It
people
sounds
liked
like the
more?
25th would work the best. Late afternoon, 25th.
Anytime
Oh, wait.
3 or after, I don't care.
Okay, but I am going to try for
the 17th.
17th.
17th would be best for me. Any of the other days, unless it's later, I might have to bow out.
Okay. Try.
Do they have a plan of what they want to do?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard the name more than anything else, and that if and when. And I know that there's like the foundation or organization, I think foundation, that redid the village park. They had talked about it at one time, looking at that piece of property too. So maybe it's I'm not sure. I don't know if they are asking for money or maybe asking for, I mean, everybody, I'm not sure. But I know that I will reach out to her ask for the 17th at 5 PM. And then if we cannot do that, then do you guys want 5 PM on the 29th, or is that too late, or you want, oh, wait a minute,
25th.
25th, sorry. What's your best time?
A 5 is probably the best.
Okay. So 5 PM or 5 PM, does that sound okay to?
Yep.
Okay by me.
Okay. So that is good, and then I'm sure she'll bring additional information, so. 8H is done. Sorry, 8I is Gilcher Christmas update. I mean, everything is going along, and I probably could have talked about Orchard Hills too, but I'll do that at a different comment because I didn't add it to the agenda. But Gilcher is coming along, the fencing is up. We are going to, where there are openings, we will be putting more boulders so that it looks more natural, and instead of adding additional fence or anything like that. The poles and the electric are not out there. They're looking at, I think it was the end of around April, possibly to the end of April. But we just met with Brent today and kind of went over some of the things that are coming up, and he's working on the getting prepped for the roof right now. The Mike Bomarito, who is the Romeo Village building inspector, he will be back in about a week and a half. So he would really like to look at it just to make sure that, because we will have to get a building permit to do that from the village. So we'll,
Where's them from that?
I know. So, but the good news is, like, it will move forward, and it might be nice because maybe he will, no matter what, find out a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
not sure how, unless he has different ways of doing it too, before we actually put the bid out on BidNet. So
Cool.
that's where that's at. And then we're looking at Crystal Diamonds for the projects that are coming up this year, just making sure that we're all set with Macomb County. We have to ask permission because that is their property.
Their land.
So, yeah, to see if we can develop. And I do think that he sent me an email right before I left that might be a little bit of an issue up in the very front to put something there. But I need to talk to him a little bit more about that. I think he's going to come next month, or we'll have the information. As far as the pavilion at Gilcher, they're getting this, getting the specs. The bid's not out or anything like that, but he did talk about the same that Donna had said, that the manufactured restrooms are a lot and on back order or whatever, that our best bet might be, and to save money, is to actually put that out for a bid for a local contractor and just say what we want.
And just build them.
Yeah, and have it built. And, I mean, the biggest thing is I just want it power washable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just the
No,
inside,
yes.
you know.
No.
That makes
So,
perfect
yeah,
sense.
Okay, so,
It is like prison toilets.
yeah, you want, but then we also want to make sure that it's adaptable, you know, has the, Maureen?
Yeah,
Is that-
Maureen.
When Maureen came in here, I love that, and we want to make sure that we provide the different options that she talks about, and actually building it ourselves might be able to do that.
Yeah.
And then as far as something for, like, not a warm-up kitchen, but an area with a wash basin or whatever, instead of, you know, people normally get it catered, or
Right.
less to maintain. They both told me less is more.
Right.
So, or at least to start, but then this way we can have that built too, so that it's lockable. And so everything is going, it's just the weather and spring and waiting for it. And I do, like we talked about, need to talk to the Kiwanis too, take a walk with them, so.
And I know they put the electric drop it.
They, for Orchard Hills.
Orchard Hills.
Yeah, DT's been out there, just the poles and the lights.
Poles aren't
and
there
stuff,
yet,
Right,
but-
but they're on their way. And he did, I did ask Brent today because you had asked me, Bob, about the lighting
For the pavilion.
for, we would have to just have a meter, like, once it's out there, and then there is a drop, I think.
Right.
Near that, so it's doable, but it's not within this project.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it should be cheap.
yeah, yeah, but I mean, I think that getting the lights and the security
Is
out.
Number one.
Yeah, it's definitely. So 8J is our truck purchase. If we, within this budget year, we do have money set aside that we can purchase a truck. And what has happened because, well, we can't purchase, oh no, we can purchase it, but Bruce Township, they are actually the ones that title our vehicles. So Mike Philbrook went.
Actually, I don't know that we do that anymore. Didn't we? Didn't we
Well-
sign them all over to you, to Parks and Rec?
We have, but we can't own,
Yeah, you can own personal property, you can't own real estate.
And they were retitled, I think.
Huh?
yeah, maybe they were.
I think they were
but they're in
retitled.
our safe.
Yeah, because I remember
Yeah.
getting the titles.
Oh, so now I just made Mike Philbrook do my work for no
Yes,
apparent
you
reason.
did. Yes, you
And he did it.
That was so nice.
No, Mike's a good guy,
I know.
and he has contacts.
Yeah, he's good. Oh,
He and
no.
He and I talked about this, too.
Yeah, I know. So, we are looking at well, okay, so these trucks might not be there. The biggest thing that we wanted was just to have a power station that you are able to plug into and use it like at special events, but it is only 400.
400 watts.
400 watts, so, I mean, it will be helpful, but
You can,
it's,
yeah, you can, depending on what it is, I mean, you're not gonna run, a hairdryer is like 1,500 watts, right? So-
Yeah.
But, for some of the lights, especially LED stuff and things like that, they don't draw that much. And we talked about that, and we talked about augmenting with some of the
yeah,
small
a smaller,
inverter generators that are
Yeah.
like suitcase size, like the
Yeah.
Hondas. They're quiet, they run great.
yeah, like right now, we have a small one, but we have to have it hooked up to the battery for like the parades and stuff, so that you can run it, but yeah, when you were saying that, that's very interesting to us, so. But, so the thought process is, if you think this is a good idea, that you set a not to exceed amount, and I purchased the truck prior to the end of the fiscal year, and then next year would be our third truck, and then we're kind of out of the cycle. We wouldn't need any additional at this point.
The contact at Heidelberg said that they don't have one sitting on their lot, but they were doing a
Right,
dealer swap.
in the area.
There's like 3 trucks that meet, they're all within this very similar price range, and they all have what we're asking for.
Yeah. At the possibility they could not be there still, but then there are others
Right.
similar to this. So that was why just, the suggestion was 54,000 not to exceed, so that we could move forward.
I'll make a motion to allow for Clara to move forward with the purchase of a new truck not to exceed $54,000 for year end, is that what you said?
Yes.
Before year end.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Billick,
Yes.
Ms. Bowers,
Yes.
Ms. Dembski,
Yes.
Ms. Duda,
Yes.
Ms. Getter.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carried.
And then 8K is budget amendments. So we are going to have about, at a minimum, 2. But I need a little bit better numbers. And so this means that I have to ask if you guys would come in and have a meeting, which I think we were talking about Monday, the 31st. Is that right?
Yes.
Or we had suggested, I don't know what anybody else's.
Availability.
My birthday.
Aw.
And I have a fundraiser that day for school.
Aw.
I have a fundraiser for school that day too.
Bring your
What
donut.
time?
Well, so it would have to be at 5.
If you, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can tell you,
I mean, we could do it the Friday or something before that.
Yeah.
good, Friday.
Let me see.
Is that no one's going anywhere for spring break? I'm not, I'm here, so I'm good.
Me
I live
too.
on spring break.
Okay, so then March 28th, Sadie is. Sadie's going away for spring.
Yeah, she's going to
Oh,
Florida.
that's nice. Good for you.
So you won't be at our
Okay.
meeting.
Okay.
Divert.
I can't hear what you guys are
Oh.
saying.
Oh, sorry.
mumbling.
March 28th,
For a-
At what
a
time?
special meeting.
Special meeting at what works for everybody?
I'm open all
I
day.
think they said 5.
5 o'clock?
My best bet would be a 5, yeah.
Okay.
Let's go with Amanda time.
Sorry.
No, it's good with me.
So,
I'm open all day.
Where?
That day.
well, I know
Okay,
that's the,
What
Where?
day is that on? Friday?
Friday.
that is
We can have it at Bruce Township.
Bruce Township.
Okay.
It might be, well, because I'd have to get permission and I'm not sure. Do you think, well, a special meeting, I don't know if we have to have it videotaped.
And should be,
Yeah,
budget amendments should be recorded.
yeah, well, well, I got the guy that's gonna do our stuff.
Okay,
It's Eli, right? Is Eli still doing yours?
No,
No?
it's, Dana's son.
Okay. Okay, so you'll take care of checking with him? Them?
If you remind me.
I'll put it in like. Okay, thank you for that. Because then we'll have all of the numbers in and we can make them better. We only have to, for the audit, do bottom line in departments, so.
Right. Yeah, you don't have to do individual.
And you've done a lot of the amendments as we went along, so that's the,
I don't think we did any.
well, I mean, prices, you know, like what
Right.
I had in the budget,
Right.
and then we went, you approved different,
Projects,
yes,
but it's within the same,
yes.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Those will be included. And I'm done.
unfinished business. Property lease, Washington Township,
No update.
no update. Romeo Community Schools, that would be Pam.
Okay, so we did meet, and we have another meeting scheduled for April. In the meantime, we had one of the leases that had some notes on it. The school is taking that back, looking at what their, basically what they would charge for different usages to kind of see what's in line with cost and kind of figure all that out. Clara was going to talk to Penny to put together what are like usages for facilities, even going so far as to like, if, like, what we could use if the pool was more available, for example, to find out what our needs are, and what their availability is. So we're going to reconvene in April with hopefully more information on that to move forward.
Okay.
Did you get any sense as to whether or not, I mean, it seems like it will be a smooth type thing, or is there going to be
I'm
hiccups in a
guessing.
similar agreement as what we have?
I mean, I think the cost could change.
Okay.
Costs could change, and that may be appropriate, but that's why we really need to look at usage, you know,
Yeah.
what are, not just
Yeah.
what it is, but since it's been scaled back because of various availability issues, what it could be. But of course, they have, I don't know how many new board members. But they have quite a few
3,
board
3?
members, so,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah,
it has
3.
to go to their board as
Okay.
well, so I don't have any. I mean, the superintendent is very supportive.
Yes, yeah, he's
Parks
very
and Rec,
supportive
very
of Parks and
supportive.
Rec and likes the relationship that we have. You know, getting the kids in buildings and families in buildings where the kids are going to go to school, the kids being able to build those relationships. He sees I mean, the value is there.
Okay,
It's
good.
just kind of ironing out those details. And, I mean, the price of everything has gone up.
Yeah.
You know, so there could be some,
We met with him today, Penny, Lynn, and myself,
oh, good.
about summer, or
Okay.
with the Romeo Community School group. He wasn't able to attend, but, I mean, we're going to be very limited this summer, but there's a lot going on at all of the schools. So, but they were trying to squeeze us and fit us, and, I mean, even the,
Construction stuff.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
there's
Oh,
parking
yeah,
lots
sorry.
happening. There's parking lots happening in 2 buildings.
Oh, my gosh, so much.
Croswell's starting
But
parking lot.
the
That's what-
representative from
Middle schools.
Barton Mallow, he was there and helped. He's definitely a fan of, you know, athletics and parks and recreation
yeah.
and stuff. And he's like, well, we could do this. So they're going to put some additional fence up for us. So that, very nice. I mean, I can't say, that was a very great meeting.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I feel like they want it to, like, it's a positive relationship and everyone wants to
Yeah, it's
continue
just,
that
we got to
positive
figure out.
relationship, just kind of figuring out logistically what makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Great. Sounds good.
All right. Oh, Kim, back to you.
Well, the banking and credit cards issue goes back to what Clara talked about earlier. We had the same issue with Huntington. When they gave us the documentation to sign, it basically had our old name on it. So, so we're kind of at a standstill at this point.
But closer.
Closer.
I feel, at first I didn't, when I was talking to I didn't think there was any hope with the Lara. I'm like, well, what do you mean? Who should I be? But then,
Oh, the DBA situation. I think Phyllis suggested that
yeah,
2 years ago.
Yeah.
That we use a DBA and eliminate all of this argument
Yeah.
over
Right.
the name issue.
yeah.
But
Yes. So as far as investments on item D, the investment committee did meet today. We went over the reports, which really didn't show much other than the fact that we've purchased the laddering CDs. And that is primarily because investment interests and things of that nature don't get reported regularly. It's more on a quarterly basis, and we haven't hit a quarter yet. So we'll have more information regarding earnings in an upcoming meeting. However, we would like to make a recommendation to the commission at this point to move forward with purchasing the 3-month CDs are expiring next month. So we would like to move forward with purchasing a 12-month CD for both Star and Parks and Rec for the face value of those 2 CDs, which would be one we purchased for $150, which I believe was
200
for
for
Star,
Star.
and then $200 for Parks and Rec. So at this point, we'd like to get the commission's approval to move forward with purchasing those at the best rate when the expiration comes about, which is about mid-April.
I'll second that. Roll call, Phyllis?
Mr. Billick,
Yes.
Ms. Bowers,
Yes.
Ms. Dembski, sorry.
Yes.
It's getting late, sorry. Ms. Duda,
Yes.
Ms. Gettard.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Community comments? We seem to have lost the crowd.
I would like
Oh,
to make
yes.
as community. I dropped off to everybody a picture of a park that's in Clinton Township, which is an inclusive playground. I received this from another resident, and they asked me to bring it up to the Parks and Rec and see if maybe we could include something similar to this in one of our future park plans. So, and I just want to,
And I
like
do
a cool
plan to go to that grand opening,
You're gonna
which
go
is
to the
on
opening?
April 4th at 12:30 at the Clinton Township Civic Center. I was told about it by another individual too. Actually, it was Maureen who told me about it. She isn't quite sure, how inclusive, because inclusive could mean a lot of things, so she doesn't know how inclusive this is. But I do want to go to get an idea about it and to sort of see if it's something we could incorporate in a future park.
This is a big part.
that's all.
Yeah, it's very big.
And it's between a splash pad and the
Oh,
library.
it might be. Yeah, it does, we're looking at it, looks like it's possible there's a water feature.
Well,
It's hard to see.
There's
in
a
the picture.
splash pad.
So, okay, so there is something there.
In the library.
Yeah.
In the library?
No, and,
Oh. Oh. Oh, it's between the splash pad
Between, oh, got it.
and the library, okay.
But I'll check it out.
Yeah, please do.
Yes.
Commission comments? Michelle?
Nothing really. I appreciate everybody's work. I mean, I think we're all doing a good job, all of us together. We seem to really move things forward, especially Kim doing all her hard work with the banking and everything.
Well, thank you.
So,
Well, I think the fence at Gilcher looks great.
Yeah.
Yes, it
I
does.
went
I
by
saw
it
when I
and
drove
I was
to
like,
school
that
the
looks
other
so
day.
good.
Yeah,
So it
I
looks
think
really
so,
good.
too.
Yep, I've checked it out.
But yeah, everything's going pretty well. I know we have some things to work through, but we're getting there.
Yeah,
We're getting a lot of, this is background stuff, but what the public sees is, these parks and improvements is,
Yeah.
that's a big thing
great.
going forward. Just thank everybody and tell the staff, great job.
well, you never know, they might walk up to you. 'Cause I said if you see them,
All right. Most people know me.
it's so true.
There's been a couple of senior center events, just if you've never been to them, they're really well attended by the seniors. The kids come, Sadie's, this is one of my regular senior center volunteers. And being able to see the interactions between the high school kids and the senior citizens and the stories. And I just think it's really beneficial to everyone. And the senior center staff does a really nice job of getting all of that put together. And then I know there's a couple Easter things that are in the works
Yeah.
coming up too, so.
We actually filled up our Todd Easter egg scramble here, but we had to limit it because there's so many other activities. But the township is going to let us use this room too, so.
Nice.
Because it got out of control before we realized it, and it's like, you add 50 tots and add a couple more plus a grandma and a grandpa. You're going to have a full house here, right during the middle of the week during
Are
the
we
day.
doing the thing
Yes,
at Gilcher?
the big one, yes.
The big
Yes.
We have the different age
That's great,
groups
yeah.
and,
That one's
Eggs are
always
getting
great.
filled the week
They
after
are,
spring.
yeah.
Eggs are getting filled the week after spring break.
Yeah, we should say thank you to Pam and to Sue, because really, I mean, you provide us so much free staff. So it's big thanks to all, and the kids are great, so.
Just want to say I like the progressive direction. Clara, your staff, commission, everybody's doing amazing things, so keep up the awesome work. I wish I could be more available during the day to be more part of things, but I'm grateful to be able to be part of the evening here, so. The fence does look amazing, and Penny's basketball program was awesome as
good.
usual.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was very good. And we had, I'll just say one
She does
thing
a
about,
fantastic job.
she does super good in that
Yeah.
program. She has it like fine tuned.
Keeps
Is
those
the-
coaches right
The
on.
winter, like
The junior, or I think we call it junior Pistons, or the Pistons
yeah,
basketball.
my son loved that when he was that age.
Yeah.
That's such a great program.
Yeah, it is
How'd the
good.
dance go?
So I was just gonna say, we had a Wicked dance, and we had 250
Oh, wow.
registered for it. We did it at the new Big Red, and actually, we put a stop there, because we had to, just because Sadie worked it.
It'll only hold so many, right? Is that?
What's that? Oh,
We're at
you know,
capacity.
well, it could hold more, but it's the first time we ever went to that venue, and we just had to put a date for the caterer, so we were there, so. But yeah, it was great. They decorate, I mean, the whole thing, you could probably even tell it more, because I was only there for setup in the beginning, and then I left, but the kids were so cute, coming in all dressed up, and they have a huge room, and then they have a small room where they made bracelets, and then we had a balloon twister in one area, and a face painter, and a magician. Just like, he would do little tricks and stuff. I mean, it was just good, stuff everywhere, so.
Great.
We've got great programmers.
Good.
Awesome.
All right, well,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
and that. Seconded by everybody. All in favor?
Bye.